Hi everyone. Yesterday evening I finished this sleeve which I was working on. I finished the tatting on it. So if you notice it properly, you would realize that I started off with 5 petal tatting, but now I have only a 3 petal tatting. That's because I removed all the work that I did 2 days back. The reason was, if you would have seen my yesterday's video, I got my tatting needles. And when I started using the tatting needles to do this work on the sleeve, I realized many things that I had to change. The first thing that I changed was I did not really needed stitches over the fabric. If you remember, I first made stitches over the fabric, then I started tatting and I started connecting the tatting to the stitches. So once I got these needles, since they are pointed enough, I didn't need to make the stitches first. So what I did was I removed the 5 petal tatting that I did 2 days back, and I also removed the stitches that I made on the fabric, and I started afresh. So this is how it looks. Obviously there was some learning curve. If you see here, this is where I started the tatting. If you see here, the way I joined this and then I moved on to this, the way I joined this, you can see these are not very properly done because this was where I was learning how to do it. But from here onwards, it's much better. So this is how I finalized that I'm going to do. Now that I have practiced the whole sleeve, rest of the sleeve I did like that. The initial 2 patches are not so great because they were like the learning curve for me. And I also had one bead in the end. So now I have to do it on the other sleeve, and I'm going to show it to you today how I did it. Among these 3 tatting needles that I have, I'm going to use the medium size one for this yarn. Even though this yarn is kind of more perfect for this small size needle, you can see they are almost of the same size, but I'm going to use this one, the medium size, because I want my tatting to be a little more thicker than it would come if I use a small size one. So I'm going to insert this thread into it. So this is the needle threader that came along with the tatting set. I need to insert this diamond shaped thing into the eye, and then I need to insert the thread into this diamond shape, and then I just need to pull it and then remove this threader. Now I'm going to leave a really long thread, a tail, among this much tail I have left, and I had already threaded this this yarn with the beads that I have to use, and that is connected to the ball. This is the end of the sleeve, and at this joint, just before this joint, at this spot, I'm starting my work. So I'm just inserting this needle like this, and I'm not pulling it all the way, just a little bit, so that I can start my work. Now this thread is the end which is loose, but I'm not supposed to use this for the tatting. I need to use the other thread, which is this one. So I'm going to start my petals. I need to make 3 double stitches, and that's it. That is my first petal. So I'm going to pull it. Now this is the place from where the picot is, from where the chain is coming. It is totally attached to the fabric without me making any other extra stitches. So now once that is done, I was actually supposed to insert it like this because I have to make a circle. So that's my first circle. So that after making the first petal, I'm going to make my second petal. For that, I have to put my needle very close to the place where the third thread from the ball is coming, and then I will make the second petal. So whatever is the pattern, I'll follow that. That's the second circle. Now I will tie this to this thread. I will tie these two threads. Now I have to make another chain like this. So I'll put the needle close to the thread. Now this is the place where you have to see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave enough gap for this to open up. So I'm going to skip. There are ribbings on this, so I'm going to skip this and this ribbing. I'm skipping two ribbings, and very close to the edge of this ribbing, I'm going inside the needle, and then I'll come out from here. I'm going to pull it a little close, so this is how it is. Now my thread is coming from the back side. I have to again bring the yarn to the front, so very close to this I'm going to insert my needle again, and I'll bring the yarn to the front. Now, so now my yarn is again coming from the front side. I have to make chains. If you see this one, we just did these three. Now we have to make chains to reach here. So what I did was I have done 3 double stitches and I joined this picot. Then I did 5 double stitches and I made a picot. Then I did 3 more double stitches. So at this point I will start the double stitches. I have to make 3 double stitches. And then I have to join it to this picot of the last petal, this picot. Now I have to do 5 more double stitches. Now I have to make a picot, and I will use this picot to join to the next petal when I start my second flower. So I did 3 picots. Now I have, this is a chain, this is not a circle, so I'll pull all the way. I don't need to hold this loop. I will pull all the way, and I'll ensure that this thing is not hanging. This thing, I have to pull it fully. Now I'm going to skip 8 ribbings. After the 8th ribbing, I'm just inserting my needle, and I will bring the yarn from the back side. And this 8 ribbing, I have actually calculated it from here. So after practicing, I initially skipped less number of ribbings, so you can see this thing is hanging. So I calculated that around 8 ribbings give me the perfect look. So that's what I did here. Now after this is where we are. Here again I will start my flower. So for making the next flower, I have to again, this is the yarn from the ball, so this is the yarn that I have to use. I will just start making 3 double stitches. And then I have to join it to this picot that was coming out of the chain, this one. So I will just pull a loop from there. You can see more detailed explanation in my earlier videos. In this video I'm just trying to show you how I join it to the fabric. So as a next step, we have done this flower petal, which is same as this petal. So as the next step, I have to make this petal with the bead, then this petal, and then we have to do this. That's it for this video. My laptop is giving some trouble, so once that is fixed, I'll upload this video. Hi. The sleeves are done, and this is how it turned out. It's pretty tiny work. Based on the design, obviously if I would have chosen a bigger design, it would have been more visible, but since this is first time I'm doing it, I thought I will pick something more easier, so that I learn making it more neater than making it more bigger. Thank you so much for watching.